Welcome, I'm your theloladass. So today I'm gonna bring you Devil's Eyes, a game that came out 28 December. It was to be on 27, but then it was coming soon, only released on 28. Kind of weird. And this is a visual novel with a mystery that you need to discover what is happening on. I think it's on a university. Uh, like I always say, visual novels you need to have an interesting story. It seems interesting because of mystery around what's happening. So calls out always attention to play. Artwork needs to be some good artwork. Can't be, of course, some is like this is a super indie team, meaning that in terms of artwork won't be like those amazing like Buried Stars, but it's good artwork. The longevity, they say that it's between 2 to 4 hours. I like that. Doesn't have, it seems that doesn't have multiple endings because they don't say that on Steam page. But I always say that visual novels needs to have multiple endings. That's always a plus. The longevity needs to be between 2 to 4 hours, like that people don't get bored because it's a lot of reading. And in here they did between 2 to 4 hours, depending. 2 is if you skip a lot, write the text. 4 if you read it and you are a fast reader. So the game is developed and published by Rapid Duck Studio, the developer and publisher at the same time, and it's their first project. That's why I say that it's a super indie team, because they are small and it's their first project. So let's start here. I lowered the music because it was too loud and it will be hard to talk with a loud sound, loud music. Loading. Like these weekdays, a lot of games coming out because holiday season. So after hours of traveling, I finally arrived at the university campus where I was going to stay. To be honest, I felt a little nervous to start my first year of university, but I guess everyone feels that way. While drying my luggage, I examined buildings around me and other students who were also trying to find their dorms. Most of them looked like they were in their first year too, which made me feel a little better and more hopeful that I can make some friends. Upon approaching the dorm, I could see a girl coming towards me while flashing me a big smile. At first I thought she was looking at someone else, so I had to turn around and check, but apparently she was actually coming my way. She stopped really close to me and started to talk. Okay, so Sarah. Hello there, I'm here to help you settle in your new home. And we are Mike, okay. Oh, thank you. My name is Sarah, and you are? Mike. A pleasure to meet you. The pleasure is all mine. Have you come from afar? Not really, I'm from a small town a couple of hours away. Well, I hope the trip was a nice one. My hometown is also not that far away from this place, so I'm quite lucky. You have here to save, to load, settings, skip, so always good. Quick save if you want. Always good too. I always hate to travel too much. Sorry, you are probably exhausted after the trip and I'm here humbling about my life. Can you please show me the papers they gave you from the university? Yeah, sure. Everything is a little confusing, so thank you for helping me. And Sarah the document she asked for. Let's see. Oh, it seems you are in luck. Your room will be on the second floor, the same as mine. Also, if you want, I can show you around the campus after you settle in. If you like that, of course. That will be very helpful. As you can probably tell, I barely know anything about this place, aside from what I saw in the pictures. Good, let me show you the way to your room then. We can talk about other things later. She led the way and gestured me to follow her up the stairs. The place was bigger than I expected, and while it wasn't anything luxurious, it was much better than what I had imagined. I thought that the dorm will be some sort of a mess, but luckily it didn't seem to be the case. We crossed the lounge area on the second floor and passed a couple of rooms down the hallway until Sarah finally stopped in front of one of the doors. Here it is, your room. You're welcome to settle in. Oh, and if you need the bathroom, it's over there at the end of the hallway. Thank you. My room is across the lounge on the other side of the building. If you ever need anything, just let me know. I will. Alright, see you around then. She waved me goodbye with a smile and hurried away, most likely to help another lucky newcomer. I entered my room and was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't a big one, but more than enough for one person, of course. More important, it was clean and cozy, with a large window occupying a considerable portion of one of the walls. And the prospect of not having to share the room with anyone else made me even happier. I started to unpack my belongings, making full use of the space I had at my disposal. I didn't bring too much stuff with me, just some clothes and a couple of books I thought would be useful, a few personal things, and my trusty laptop, which I would gladly replace with a new one if only I had the money to do so. Nonetheless, it was enough to make this room look like somebody actually lives here. There we go. I realized I needed to ask for the Wi-Fi password, but that couldn't wait. Right now I really want to explore the campus a little. I probably need to check if Sarah is still busy. I would really like to take her up on her offer to give me a little tour. I caught myself getting a little excited with the prospect of spending some time together with this charming girl. I stuffed my now empty bags in a closet and evaluated the room, double checking that everything was where I wanted it to be. After I was finally satisfied, I left the room hoping to find Sarah. I went over the girl's side of the floor. The more I was thinking about it, the more nervous I got. Some kind of a new guy who's just arrived strolling around the girls' rooms. What will they think of me? With every step I took, I was thinking of a way to not attract too much attention, but judging by the stares I was receiving, that had the opposite effects. Luckily for me, when I was debating with myself whether should I turn around or not, one of the doors opened. Sarah stepped out of her room and quickly spotted me. "Oh, Mike, have you made yourself at home already?" Yeah, I didn't have a lot of things with me, so it didn't take too much time. I was wondering if now would be a good time to ask you to give me a little tour. Am I distracting you? I would hate to create an inconvenience for you. Oh, please don't worry about it. I promise to show you around, and to be honest, I would love to have a walk right now. I hope you didn't have to wait by my door for that. It's not like that, I was just passing by, I swear. Despite the fact that I was telling the truth, my voice sounded shaky. I wasn't sure if my embarrassment was apparent, but even if Sarah didn't notice it, she did not show it in any way. I see. Well, you already saw the dorm, so let me show you around the campus now. Follow me. See, the artwork, very good artwork, I like it. For a super indie team, artwork is very good. Of course, you can compare with Buried Stars, it's not the same, but it's good at the same time. As I followed Sarah outside the dorm, she started her speech. We have a lot of facilities around, and there is a wonderful park nearby too, which is nice if you ever want to relax. Most of the things related to the university are close to the main building. She recited words with the confidence of a professional tour guide. I could tell it wasn't the first time she was doing all of this. Here we just have a library and a couple of bars if you are interested in that. That actually sounds great. Not really my way of spending a night, but it could be nice to get to know others and unwind a little. That's what I was thinking too when I arrived here last year. And let me tell you, this place doesn't just seem great. Our university is truly a good place. Do you work part-time here at the university or something like that? It seems like your interest lies a bit beyond just studying here. No, I don't work here, not for pay at least, but I asked to help new students a little with settling in. And frankly, I'm quite happy doing it. I would like to get to know a lot of people and experience as much as I can during my university years. And seeing how one of those years is already gone, I was quite eager to take on this extra task. Seems very selfless of you to do all of this. It depends on how you look at it. Some could say that I'm selfish, using all the new coming students to my own ends, including you. Sarah's expression confused me. I couldn't for the life of me understand now how helping other people in their own time could be selfish. And while I was desperately trying to wrap my head around what she said, we got close to a prominent building standing in the middle of the campus. And that is our main building. Most of the class take place here, okay? We can't go in right now, but you will get to experience everything firsthand tomorrow. I hope it won't be too hard. Don't worry too much, just try to not skip the class and do your homework. We have great teachers, they will make it easy for you if you don't disappoint them. And they aren't great simply because they are good at what they do, which they definitely are, but also each of them is such a nice and supportive person. It's good to know that, will definitely help me to sleep tonight. Is there anyone in particular I should pay special attention to? Professor Taylor is my favorite. She teaches management. I know. It might sound boring, but that's the thing. She managed to turn even the most boring subject into an incredible and exciting thing. And that's what I love about her. So make sure to not miss a single word when you are in her class. I will do just that then. The bus station is pretty close to the campus too, in case you want to visit the city. It's a pretty big one, but please be careful at night. You might run into someone unpleasant or even get robbed. I'm not really a big fan of night walks. It seems like it will be a bad idea in any place. You are right. Oh, there's Lily and Kevin is with her too. Come on, I will introduce you. Sarah dragged me towards two of her friends. When we got closer, I could see a guy that seemed a little older than me and a girl that looked around my age. Kevin, Lily, this is Mike. Mike, this is Kevin and Lily. Lily is a first year student same as you. She arrived here a couple of days ago. Okay, Lily, it's a pleasure to meet you. What's up, bro? And this is Kevin. Nice to meet you. Do you just arrive? How do you like it out here? I'm just getting acquainted with the place, but I have to say that I'm impressed. I didn't expect everything to be so neat and pristine. It almost feels like a resort. Ha! I was exactly the same in my first year, but you get used to it, as it was always happens with anything good, and it makes me worry. Any place I will be staying after this university will have high standards to meet. I can only hope the money it costs to be here is worth these high standards. Oh, come on, just look around. Of course it's worth it. So, what were you guys doing? I was just telling Lily about her class this year and what teachers to listen to. Really? We were talking about the same thing. I thought considering studying starts tomorrow. That's not a surprising coincidence. This information is really important, you know, right? Don't want to go around and piss off the wrong people. Oh, on that note, try to stay away from Dave. He's a third year student and is pretty well known for being a dick to everyone, especially newcomers. He's been a top student for the past 2 years. Probably thinks he's better than anyone else just because his grades are better. I will try to remember that, thanks. To be honest, I hope I won't have to deal with him or any other people of that sort. You can't just avoid unpleasant people. You need to learn to deal with them. That's an important part of university teach you. Yeah, I will try to do that. Don't worry, you can always tell me if someone is bothering you. Is Mike going to stay in the same dorm as us? The question was addressed to Sarah, who was now just standing there and smiling while looking at the three of us. She seemed quite happy that everybody was getting along so well and probably even proud to be catalyst for starting our friendship. Or at least I hoped it will become friendship. Huh? Oh yes, you'll have the chance to see each other often. I didn't mean it like that, I was just... I know. It's nice that we are in the same building though. As you can probably tell, there is a number of dorms, so you could have really lived anywhere. How about we all go somewhere to hang out together? It's our last day off. What do you think, Sarah? I would love to stay more, but I have to go back and see if anyone else needs my help. Oh, I see. Typical Sarah. Well, don't let us hold you back. What about you, Mike? Will you join us? I think I will go back to the dorm with Sarah. I'm a bit tired after the trip. I feel like I need a nap. Was it a long trip? Do you live very far? A couple of hours by train, and I had to carry all the luggage too. I know what you mean. I felt the same when I arrived here a couple days ago. I slept for an entire afternoon that day. Honestly, it wasn't that horrible, but it kinda drained me a little. We should hang out some other day, okay? I know an awesome spot by the lake. The place looks real beautiful at night. Sounds sweet. We'll love to check it out, maybe on a weekend. Don't be a stranger when you see us in the dorm. I will make sure to say hi. Sarah and I said our goodbyes and we head back to the dorm. I wasn't honestly that tired, but it felt a bit wrong to leave this kind girl alone after everything she did for me. You seem worried. Is there something on your mind? It's nothing. It's just everyone here seems to know more about this place than me. Everybody is much more prepared than I am. I know, it's silly, sorry I'm bothering you with that kind of things. I already told you before, it's my pleasure to help. Besides, you seem like a nice guy. Anyway, as I said earlier, you shouldn't be intimidated. Everything's gonna be fine. Just try to study as best you can. Everybody goes through this. You don't want to fall behind. As you probably know, our university only covers tuition fees for a limited amount of students. But since your entry exam score was good enough, your first semester will be covered. The rest you can worry about later. I guess so. Lil wasn't as fortunate as you, though. She failed to get a free place by a small margin. Now she will have to pay until her grades are good enough to secure that free spot. Ouch. Or rather take it from someone else. There is also a chance someone will drop out for whatever the reason. It's not very common amongst people with good grades, however. But not impossible too. Anyway, you should be fine. Just be serious, pay attention during lectures and you'll have no problems. And feel free to always ask for help if you ever feel like needing it. I'm always there to give you a hand. Thanks for the encouragement. Well, I will let you rest now. You can come here and watch TV or talk with others whenever you want. Just try to not make too much noise if it's real late, okay? Got that. We'll see you around then. See you. I left Sarah and went towards my room. Even though I wasn't that tired, I could still use the time to catch up with social media on the internet and get better accustomed to the place. I opened my laptop and realized I forgot to ask for a Wi-Fi password again. I had to use my own internet for now, but I need to make sure to get the password later, even though I imagine the speed will be horrific. Judging by their online page, all my school friends were having a great time starting their new lives as university students. I decided to go through university forums and see if I can find there something that will ease my mind at least a teeny bit. After digging through the forum archive of various topics by first year students before me, I was finally able to convince myself that I will be fine for this year at least. The subject I was taking didn't sound too difficult, and I was also happy to see that I was in my Professor Taylor's class. I wonder if Lily took her class as well, and how many we will have in common. While still leaving my laptop open, I jump on my bed and relax a little while staring at the ceiling. I guess I will be fine for now. This day went honestly better than I could have expected. This part thanks to all wonderful people I met, especially Sarah. Let me save. I want to make sure. Okay, like that. That's safe. Return. Okay. Think about that. I could feel my eyelids become heavier. That's the last thing I could remember before falling asleep. Thankfully, I woke up in the time for class on the next day, even without the alarm. I will hate to be late on my first day. I heard that you don't need to worry about that too much at this university, but there were still some teachers who won't let you join their class even if you are only late by a few seconds. God damn. What kind of professor are those? I quickly got up, washed my face and rushed to my class. I managed to secure a seat in the classroom right before my first lesson started. I tried to be an example of a perfect student, which for now only involved listening. The second class wasn't too different, and the third one too. As I expected, every teacher talked a little about their subject and presented what we'll do this year. No one wanted to keep us for too long or give us too much information at once, and honestly, I was thankful for that. The normal that when you start the class, it's always like to say what they're gonna learn like that, and then they leave, let the students go away. The normal always. I briefly noticed Kevin and Sarah around the university, but I was too busy heading to my next class, so I wasn't able to talk to them. It was the last class of the day, and I was fairly excited that everything will finally end and I will be able to relax a little. The previous lessons weren't that tiring, but the chairs were far from comfortable, despite looking quite pleasant. I felt like I would rather be in my bed right now. For most part of the day I was sitting alone, only occasionally exchanging one or two words with my classmates. While I was lost in my thoughts before the final class started, a girl took a seat near me and half turned away to face the other direction. I found that quite weird. Apparently she was that shy, which gave me the courage to spark a conversation. Even though we were all in our first year, some people already form a group here, so it was tougher to approach them, but this girl seemed to be alone. "Hello there, how are you?" So Emma. "Oh, hi. My name is Mike. That's probably a bit too straightforward, but I don't know too many people here, and I thought maybe we could be friends. I'm in fairly similar position, so don't worry. I don't mind making new friends. I'm Emma, by the way. Are you ready for this class? Pretty excited, if I'm being honest. I see. Not sure how to feel about studying psychological experience that are conducted on people, but I guess it will be an interesting experience. It can help us in the future. It is really interesting to understand how the human brain works. That's why we are here, no? Well, I guess so. I want to study sociology, but I was expecting to have more classes related to that. Instead, I got management, other things about economy and psychology. Well, the last one is at least connected to society in some way. All of them are if you think about it. The economic factor can and will influence how someone chooses to live their lives, correctly? So while they are really different at first glance, they are connected to human behavior and the way society works. I wish I could have your enthusiasm, but maybe you are right. These things are all connected if one looks at the bigger picture. I just hope we don't go too much in depth about the economic side of things and rather focus on psychological effects of it. See, you can already see how it can be useful. I guess so. Anyway, are you living here in one of the dorms? Yes, I live in the building B2. What about you? No way, we live in the same place. What were the chances? Honestly, you'll be surprised. Yes, I met 3 other students who live there. They seem like cool people. That's good to know. What floor are you on? I live on the 2nd floor. What about you? I'm on the 3rd. Okay. That's still really close. Maybe we can hang out sometimes? Sure, I'm not sure how often I will leave my room since I have to study, but if I will, I'll make sure to drop by. Yeah, right, studying is our top priority. Now, the teacher is here, so let's pay attention. We can talk later. Okay, at least we already have a new friend. Okay, so this is the teacher. I know that I'm direct my attention towards the teacher. She was a woman in her middle 30s, dressed elegantly. She seemed strict yet kind at the same time. So this teacher is called Jades. Hello everyone, my name is Professor Jade. I'm sure you are wondering what we will be studying this year. Well, the name of the class might give it away, but I will elaborate to leave out any ambiguity. Psychological experiments might sound like something out of a horror movie, but most of them are mundane and none of them is harmful. Correction, none of them should be harmful. You will see that in the past people used to do some questionable experiments, but thankfully in our day and age we have a commission in place that will not let these things happen. Take for example an experiment that was supposed to see how people would react if they had someone life in their hands. They were supposed to ask a couple of nice questions, and if the other person answered wrong, an electric shock was applied to their body. And intensity increased with each wrong answer. The interesting part about this is that the 2 people involved couldn't see each other. The person asking questions could only hear the one who had to reply, which made it less personal for the former and easier mental, so there is some mistake in there. And at some point, there was a few people who continued to proceed with questions and applied shocks until they killed someone. Also, they thought, in reality, they didn't actually electrocute anyone. Since subjects only heard the voice, they couldn't know there was actually no one there. They thought they heard the person behind the wall that they couldn't see through, a person they saw at the beginning of the experiment. Unfortunately, the experiment was considered too harmful since most of these subjects were traumatized by the fact they killed a human being. Of course, you are saying that you killed someone and nobody was there, people get afraid. Come on, that's kind of stupid to do that on a university. They had a very hard time coping with the fact, even after it was explained to them that everything was staged. It's always easy to do something harmful to someone when you don't see them, but face to face it's another story. Well, that was an example of an experiment that went a bit too far. I found what Professor Jade said really fascinating. It was not only the fact that the experiments were this crazy, but also the fact that she didn't seem to be bothered about it while describing everything to us. Well, she's supposed to teach us these things, but when she was telling us about what those people went through, I got chills running down my spine. Should I even feel this way? Yes, the subject went as far as killing someone else, albeit theoretically, but they were put under a lot of pressure by another person. Still, to not be able to understand when you are hurting someone so badly, not stopping. Were those people enjoying it, or did they just crack under pressure? Well, I guess the experiment was supposed to show the power of authority. I wondered what would I do in that situation. I can't think of myself as a killer. I can't believe I will just press a button to hurt someone else while hearing their screams. But will that change when other people add pressure to me? Will that change me? The class ended and I was still sitting there a little dumbfounded about what I've learned. I've heard worse things in my life, but never something that sounded so terrible, but also organized and deliberate. After a couple more minutes, I realized everybody else had left by now. I shook my head and started slowly making my way back to the door. I don't know if it was the experience that made a huge impression on me or the way Professor Jade was talking about. I went straight to my room and crashed on the bed. I opened my laptop, cursing myself for forgetting to ask for a password yet again, and started to search a little bit more about psychological experiments. To my surprise, some of them were even more brutal than the one we learned about in class, and while it was interesting to see human behavior in different situations, it felt wrong to toy with people's minds and emotions. This search took a lot of time, and when I put the laptop down, I realized it was already getting dark outside. I didn't want to sleep yet, so I left my room to see if anyone was still in the lounge. There I could see a couple of students. I could recognize Kevin and Lily among them. Hey, if it's our new student Mike, how are you, bro? Quite fine, and had an interesting day, but other than that, just the usual. Are you talking about Professor Jade's class? Yes, how do you know? I was there too, but you didn't respond to me. I was trying to say hi, but you were talking to a girl, so I didn't want to bother you. Oh, that was Emma. She lives here on the first floor. That's cool. Maybe she can hang out with us sometime. Also, I know what you are saying about Professor Jade. She can be really intense, but I respect her as a teacher. Yeah, I just have to get used to her style, I guess. She seems really passionate about her work, which is only good thing in my opinion. You don't want someone who will do things half-assed. You are probably right. How was your day, Lily? Went pretty much as I expected. There were a lot of students, so it was thought to spot you. Only at the class I could find you. Yeah, people tend to go to the first class, but don't worry, after a couple of weeks it will get a bit emptier. Some students will try to skip while others might even drop out completely. Sarah said people rarely drop out. I could see the notion of it made Lily unhappy. That's Sarah for you. She always does things the right way, and it sometimes eludes her that not everyone is like that. Why would somebody go through all the trouble of passing here only to leave instantly? Isn't that kind of pointless? Well, people always think they want something until they actually get it. After a couple of weeks, some realize this place is not what they wanted at all. Hopefully, you two will stay here, though. It will feel lonely without you. I don't see myself leaving this place anytime soon. Well, hopefully when I graduate, but now is not the time to think that far ahead. I agree. There is no point in leaving, especially since I had to pay a lot to be here. There you go. As I said, some students might leave, who knows. That could be enough to secure a free spot. I don't know about that. Really don't think that people with good grades will drop out. Most likely, it will be slackish if anyone. But if you are right, that will be my life saved for the next semester. I talked a little bit more with Lily and Kevin until it was almost night. I didn't see Sarah, but I heard that she was in her room trying to study, so I didn't want to disturb her. There will be other days when we can see each other. I said goodnight to my new friends and went back to my room to try and get some sleep. That didn't work too well. I woke up in the middle of the night feeling thirsty. I had to get up and make a visit to the kitchen. I should really make a mental note to have some water in my room so I don't have to get out for little things like this. I opened the door and heard a slight noise down the hallway. Somebody else was still awake, which is not surprising in the building full of students. let me save. Gonna save in 2 spots because you never know what can happen. I tried to do my best to ignore the strange sounds, but when I turned my head towards the lounge, I could see something in the darkness. Ooh, what the hell is that? My eyes did not yet adjust after waking up, but I could make out a strange dark silhouette in the shadows. Something about the figure was off, not quite right, not quite human, because you can see that it has some horns. Yup, look at that. A moment later it turned to me, revealing a pair of gleaming red eyes. I rolled my eyes in disbelief, thinking that it was merely my mind playing tricks to me, but the figure was still there, and it did not change a bit. Dismayed by the gaze of a strange creature, I froze on the spot. I could feel sweat starting to form on my forehead. I had no idea what is in front of me, but my instincts were trying to alert me of danger that was looming over me. No matter how hard I tried to move, I couldn't do anything. The red eyes were piercing through my soul. After a couple of seconds, which felt like eternity, I managed to blink. When I opened my eyes, the silhouette vanished in the darkness as if it was never there. My mom urged me to go back to my room and jump inside the closet, hoping it will be enough to shelter me. But my body seemed had a will of its own. Slowly but steadily, I inched towards the lounge room. When I finally got to it, I peeked inside only to see that the room was empty. Wanting to make sure of it, I reached for the light switch. Oh my god! Ah! What is this? This has to be a sick joke. This is not real. Shocked by the scene, I fell on the floor. In the middle of the lunchroom was what looked like a drawing of a pentagram. Here you go, pentagram immediately. And in the center of it lay the body of a young girl. A girl whose face was too familiar. Sarah! No, it can't be. I couldn't believe it was real her. The cheerful and kind girl I barely knew, yet I adored so much. The girl that would selfless help anyone laid or now motionless on the floor, murdered in such horrible way. It took me a moment to realize that gruesome drowning was painted with Sarah's blood. What the... Ah! Two familiar voices made me come back to my senses and realize that a lot of students had come to the lunchroom, awakened by my screams. Kevin and Lee were among those people. Everyone looked terrified. Some students burst into tears. Some were screaming, not knowing what to do. The dorm turned into a place of horror. With a corner of my eyes, I could see Emma, and to my surprise, she was quite composed. She even approached the pentagram and crossed to study it closer. How could she calmly look at something so twisted, at something so grotesque? I snapped back to my senses, grabbed a blanket from the couch, and covered Sarah's body with it. I tried to hide the sight of her brutality wounded body from others, and more importantly, from my own eyes. Some time passed and students started to regain their composure, and now fear took the place of panic. Now instead of screaming and crying, people start to look around nervous because they have realized something sinister. A person who murdered her was likely someone among us. Well, that might be a little too soon to say, but it was hard to believe someone from the outside could pull off something like this. I wanted to say something to Kevin and Lee, but I was too frightened to utter a word. Deciding that I don't want to say even one more second there, I left the lounge. I washed my face in the bathroom. After that, I went to my room, and while I wanted to sleep, I forgot everything. I didn't have the luxury of that. The moment I tried to close my eyes, image of Sarah's body lying in the middle of a pentagram was right before me. I could hear loud noise coming from the lounge. I realized that teachers and police must have finally arrived. A few minutes passed before I could hear a knock on my door, and when I opened it, a young woman was standing in front of me. She looked rough, and almost I couldn't tell if it was because she dragged out of her bed at night or because she simply was that kind of person. So, it's Taylor. I'm sorry to bother you, Mike, but I think we need to talk. May I come in? Yeah, sure. I don't believe we have met before. I am Professor Taylor. Okay, there you go. Taylor is a professor, one of teachers at this university. Nice to meet you. Although I wish it would happen in better circumstances. Indeed. The police are doing their job right now and I'm doing mine. I heard from the students that you were the one who found Sarah. That's true. Excuse me, but why are you the one to ask me questions? Shouldn't police be handling that? Will you prefer a police officer to question you instead? I don't know. Probably not. I have convinced the detective in charge it will be best if I was the one who will talk to students so you don't have to deal with them, not without the help of the principal Tom. Look, I'm really sorry about what happened to Sarah. She was really dear to me and a great student. Even she was a bad student, this won't make it any easier. I saw the scene, no one deserves a fate like that. Do you think you can help me with anything? That way we can catch the murder before something else happens. Do you think it will happen again? It's not something that we can know for sure, but it is a possibility. And regardless of that, we have to find whoever did this. So I would appreciate if you could help us and tell me everything you know about what happened tonight. I don't know very much, unfortunately. I felt thirsty when I woke up, so I headed to the kitchen. When I was in the hallway, I could hear noise coming from the lunch room. Then I noticed someone was standing there. Was it a man or a woman? I wouldn't know, it was too dark to tell. I see, go on. This person noticed me and before I could tell it, they were gone. Do you remember in what direction they went? I'm sorry, I can't tell you for sure. I was still drowsy and didn't that much attention. If only I knew it would be important. It's alright, you couldn't have known what had happened. I proceeded to the lunch room and turned on the lights to see if somebody was actually there, and then I saw Sarah. My voice was shaking, but I gathered a little more strength to finish the story. I screamed, I think, or did something loud maybe, because all students flooded the room shortly. That's it, I'm sorry that probably doesn't help you all that much. You were very helpful, you are a really strong person, you know that? Not everyone will be able to talk about what happened, especially given the circumstance. It might need your help later, but for now you should try to rest. I know it will be tough, but you should still go to your class. Our principal is worried this unfortunate event will cause problems to the university public image. It will be for the best both for the rest and for our students as well if everyone continue with their normal life as much as is possible after what happened. I understand. Good. And the last thing, you will be moved to a different room on one of the other floors, but that's tomorrow. What about other people on this floor? Will they move too? Naturally. Also, please don't worry about your safety. You will be doubling our security so everyone is going to be safe in here. Professor Taylor was trying to say that with confidence, but I could tell she doubted her own words. Surely she understood that the murderer could be someone from inside the campus, and in that case security will be useless. Well, I will leave you now. I'll make sure that the police won't bother you. Professor left and so did my inability to sleep. I guess I was feeling a little more at ease after talking to her, or maybe I was just way too tired right now to feel any kind of emotion. I looked at the ceiling and I could feel my eyes closing. Hopefully I will get a nice peaceful sleep. I could only pray to not see the nightmares with Sarah. When I left my room next day, I saw that blanket was still on the floor, stained with blood, covering what remained of the pentagram. I speeded past it, not wanting to be in that room a second longer than I had to. Lessons went to be pretty quiet until I could hear people whispering and even openly gossiping about what had happened at nights. I wanted to talk with Lily and Kevin or with Emma, but I was also scared we would end up talking about Sarah. I've managed to avoid it so far, but I was worried that sooner or later some students would start asking me questions, and I definitely didn't want to hear it coming from my friends. I could tell that people were looking at me differently now, but I was not sure if it's just because I was the one who found Sarah dead or because they were actually considering me as a suspect. To them, I guess I was one, but at least I knew I didn't have anything to do with it. When the last class ended, I rushed back to the dorm to rid myself of all the stares and whispers. When I came back to my room, I found an envelope somebody slid under the door. It had a key in it and a note from Professor Taylor saying I was moved to the third floor. Not giving it another thought, I quickly started packing things up. I really wished they moved me to a different dorm, but I was happy I could leave this floor at least. While I was carrying my belongings to the next floor, I met a couple of students. When I approached them, they turned away their gaze, and so did I. It seemed we had a mutual lack of desire to interact. My room on the first floor was practically identical to the one I had on the second, except for the fact that the window offered a slight higher view. I made unpacking easier. I just put my things into the exact place they were. It would actually please me much more if this room was nothing like the previous one. I didn't want to remind me of my first 2 days here with its familiar looks, but I was glad that at least I won't ever have to pass through that cursed lounge again. I threw myself onto the bed, and despite my desire to put everything behind, I couldn't help but think about what happened last night. Should I go and talk with someone about it? I never told Professor Tell about the red eyes. I didn't want her to think I'm insane. She could even assume I was the murderer and decide to make all of that because I didn't have a real alibi. But what was that? Could it be really being some kind of a monster? Or was it just a trick? Could it be have merely been my imagination? That's probably the most logical explanation, but that's also the easiest option. And I still remember the terror I felt when those eyes looked directly at me. It felt so real. And what's with that pentagram thing? Did someone do it just to tickle their fancy in such a twisted way? But how can I possibly use all these clues? Sure, I can't simply share it with the police. I can already imagine the face of a detective when I'm going to tell him that monster did all of this. I decided not to worry about this problem anymore since I can't do too much about it. But my brain had other plans. I couldn't help recalling the event. I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to leave my room. My gaze was drifting towards the stairs, and before I knew, my legs brought me to the second floor. The place was tapped off by the police, but there was no one guarding it. I guess they felt no need to keep anyone inside the building since they were watching all the entrances to the campus. I sneaked inside and found that all signs of what happened were removed as much as possible, including the pentagram. If it wasn't here last night, I could swear this was just a normal room that was closed off seemingly for no reason. I sat on the floor and started to look around the place. I wasn't really hoping to find some kind of a clue or a reason for what had happened. I was just trying to find something. Something that will make me at least a little more at peace. As suddenly took my thoughts, I heard a movement. My body reacted immediately, remembering last night and what happened then. I tried to hide as well as I could this time and wait to see what would happen. But when I finally took my place behind the couch room went quiet. Someone, what are you doing here? Words came in a whisper from a person right behind my back. I almost wanted to scream, but I managed to get hold of myself. Not in the least because the voice clearly belonged to a girl. Besides, if she was here to harm me, she would have probably done it already, I hoped. I just couldn't sleep. Who are you? The girl stepped out of the shadow. She didn't seem any older than me. It was a bit hard to distinguish her features in the darkness of the room, but I could sense confidence in her voice. So, Alice, okay. That makes two of us. Do you mind if I join you? If you want. You should know that this place is dangerous, okay? Are you going to hurt me? Of course not. I was talking about what happened last night. Then this place is not dangerous. I don't think anyone will be stupid enough to do something so soon. I'm Alice, by the way. Mike, but you probably already know that. I could tell I'm getting pretty famous around here. Infamous is likely the word you are looking for. So that's what you think about me. Not at all. I don't really have any opinion on you yet. Just because you were the first one to see what happened doesn't mean you did it. I will be foolish to assume that. It is nice to hear that someone at least believes in my innocence. Listen, you are still not under arrest and you are still a student here. That should be proof enough that police and teachers don't think you did it. As for the other students, they just love to gossip, so let them be. People are always like that. You think they are going to be better just because they grew older, but more experience doesn't mean you will be a better person. I appreciate your words, but why are you telling me all of this? Please keep your voice down. I don't want anyone to see us in here, especially at this hour. Sorry, I'm just a little confused. I don't get why are you here and why do you care so much about me? Alice didn't say anything for what felt like an eternity. She now was close enough for me to tell she had a serious look and her gaze was direct to the place where everything happened. She let out a big sigh and looked me directly in the eyes. You have seen them, right? The red eyes. What you are talking about? Wait, how is it possible for her to know what I saw that night? Could she actually be the murderer and was just trying to gain my trust so she can kill me easier? I need to be careful with the way I answer. I want to lie, but I can't tell that it's not going to convince her, so I only have one choice. How do you know about it? I appreciate you being honest with me. Well, that's simple answer. I was there when it happened. You were there? I know this is not shocking, but I live here too. I heard a noise from my room since I was still awake at that hour studying. Being a curious person, I decided to investigate it. At first I thought it might be a rat, but then I saw it. The eyes. Only for a fraction of a second before this person turned away. A few seconds later the figure vanished and I saw you behind it. That's why you don't think it was me? Yes, but I didn't stay there. I was scared to death and crawled back to my room to hide. You may think I'm a coward, but I really don't want to test my luck. I could tell all of it was not right. So I wasn't the only one there after all. Do you think anyone else might know too? Us and the culprit, of course. So why did you come here? It might sound strange, but I want to find the culprit. It bugs me that whoever did it is on the loose. Well, do you have any suspects? Any leads? Clearly everyone who was on this floor is under suspicion, but I won't rule out anyone from this building. So you don't think it was someone from outside? Not a chance. Police checked the cameras all over the university. No one entered the campus and no one entered this dorm. And how do you know that? I might have overheard it while hiding behind the corner. You like to stick your nose where it doesn't belong, do you? Alice made an innocent look. Well, if what you are saying is true, then the murderer is sleeping with us tonight too. Bingo. I'm here not because I couldn't shake off the image of the murderer, but because I want to see if anyone will return to the scene. But you were unlucky and only found me here. To be honest, this is actually lucky. I want you to be my eyes and ears where I can't reach. You are asking me to spy for you? Why would I do something like this? I barely even know you. Not to mention that this is extremely dangerous. We could both get killed. For all I know, you could be the murderer. I didn't see you back then. Not unless you had red eyes. Do you really think I would have told you all of this if that was the case? You can see that she doesn't have red eyes, so. Alice was right. She was either honest with me or she was one of the smartest criminals ever. But judging by how Sarah's body looked, I just can't believe that someone like Alice is behind this. When I found Sarah's body, it looked brutal. Hey, I wonder something. I never realized it, but Sarah's body had a lot of wounds. If it was a fight, how come none of us heard it? How come she never screamed? And that's our second proof that it's someone she knew. Because this person could approach her while she had her guard down. That's true. As for the wounds, I think they might have been inflicted after her death, save for the pentagram, maybe doing some ritual. So, Alice knows a lot. I think police are realizing that too and suspect one of us. You are probably fine though, so I won't worry too much. Wait, please stop for a second. Why inflict wounds on someone who is already dead? I can only think of two explanations. First is whoever did this is a fanatic or a cultist of some sort. Yup. Second is to send a message to someone, to show power to the police or maybe to a partner in crime. Maybe it's to do a ritual only. Maybe she saw who killed, read something and want to do a ritual to see if it will happen or not. That's what I'm thinking. Why are you so sure wounds were inflicted while she was alive? It's the only reasonable conclusion. Else, it will make no sense since we will have at least heard something. And if she was drugged, there is no reason for those wounds either. True? Even if you are right, why not let the police do it? We'll just get ourselves killed. I can't trust the police, I'm sorry, but I need to do this by myself. Well, I want your help, but no one else should know about this. My room is on the 4th floor. Please think about it and give me an answer. Okay, so she's above us, because now we are on the 3rd, she's on the 4th, okay. Alice left without saying anything else or looking back at me. I stayed alone for a couple of minutes, then went back to my room. There were a lot of things to think about. Is Alice really trustworthy? I see no reason for her to lie to someone like me. I would understand if she lied to the police, but what does she gain from telling me all of that? I suspect the culprit is someone from this dorm because otherwise the whole murder wouldn't make too much sense. The big question right now was simple. Do I want to get involved in the big mess and help Alice, or do I want to stay away from it? Well, learning who the murderer was will help me sleep better and will make this place much safer, but will I be willing to risk my life for that? For now I just want to sleep and stay away from anything that can harm me. Let me save, because we passed through a lot. Next days I've passed without anything unusual happening, and while people were still talking about the murder, you could see some students smile and laugh around the university again. That didn't last for too long, however. While walking towards my next class, I could hear a rattle and screams coming from a distance. I started to run, trying to not think of the worst, but when I got there, my fears were unfortunately true. Those of students gathered outside of a small classroom, trying to see what was happening. Some of them shouted and others backed away in terror after entering the classroom. Despite my bad judgment, I decided to see everything for myself. Oh my god, another! And a pentagram. As I expected, the scene that unfolded before my eyes was reminiscent of what happened all night a week ago. The victim was laying on the ground in the middle of a pentagram. I was relieved when I realized I didn't know the poor guy. I could hear a stir coming from outside the classroom. Shortly after, a few teachers entered, followed by Emma. Until long enough, Kevin and Lily were here too. Many other students gathered to try and peek inside. Seeing how I was of no help, I left the classroom and decided to go outside to a nearby park, hoping that fresh air will help me to calm down. At this rate, things could get out of hand far too quickly. But despite everything, I was not sad or angry, just anxious about it. This was the second murder I saw, and it all happened in the space of a week. I guess others shared my sentiment because soon enough I could see Lily and Kevin coming towards me. Hey, long time no see. Yeah, sorry, I've been busy. I understand, don't worry. Me and Kevin had to move to the 5th floor. Are you still in the same dorm? Yeah, they gave me a room on the 3rd floor. Okay, so these two are on the 5th floor. Okay. Is it nice there? Same as before. This university really is something else, right? You can say that again. Makes me think of going back home. I will never do such a thing. Some students left after what happened. That might be my only chance for a free place. Start to suspect about Lily. I see, I can't blame you for trying to find the bright side of things. People say it was Dave. Last time they say it was me. They just want to blame it on someone. Makes life easier. Why him though? Well, he lives in our dorm, spies everyone in this university. People all say he already had problems with the police before. But more important, he and Professor Wilson were the only ones who had the key to that class. Professor Wilson was helping Dave with his papers, and he gave him a key to apparently. Okay. I see, but what was the other student doing there? Word goes that he wanted to confront Dave with something. They didn't like each other. That really sounds suspicious. Also, giving keys to a student doesn't sound very responsible. That's because you haven't met Professor Wilson yet. He asked me once to go to his house and get papers he forgot. He just gave me keys from his house. Strange. This guy is insane or too nice for his own good. Yeah, well, anyway, it was nice to catch up with you. We'll be on our way. True, I'm glad we got to talk like this. Please, come by and talk with us when you have some time. Will do. Thank you for everything. When I went back to the class, I decided to stay in the park for a little and then head up to the dorm. I still had some class that I needed to go, but there was only one place I had in my mind right now. I went straight towards the fourth floor, asked around, and luckily some girls showed me the door I was looking for. I was hoping Alice will be there instead of having class. I knocked lightly. A second later, I could hear steps. Alice opened the door, she looked worried and gestured me to enter her room quickly. Whoa, nice room. As soon as I stepped inside, Alice shut the door. The room itself was a copy of mine. I looked around and appreciated the fact that it looks much more pleasant than mine, thanks to its own effort and tastes. Comfy. Did you come here simply to chat, or are you willing to accept my proposal? You know what happened today at university? What do you think? Word travels fast in here. I'm actually wondering when you will show up. Well, here I am. What do you need my help with? Alice put a cup in front of me and served me some tea, motioning me to sit down. What made you change your mind? This can't continue. You have to tell me if you know anything more about this. Alice squinted her eyes at me. I heard people are starting to suspect Dave. I heard that as well. To be fair, he has a bad history, but only met him twice. They say that he and Professor Wilson were the only ones who had the key to the class. That happened to be aware of as well, but that doesn't really prove anything. Look, Dave seems problematic, to say at the least, but that is not why he wouldn't do it. He knows that everyone will point a finger at him in an instant. Maybe he didn't care. Who else could it be? Professor Wilson? What about everyone in here? What about your friends? Lily, Kevin, Emma? What about them? Kevin seems to know too much. Emma always talks about demons with me. Lily is desperate for paid tuition. There you go. They have reasons too. It could be anyone at this point. What was about Emma and demons? She never talked with you about it? Well, she has a finger for the all cut. And with both murders having a pentagram there, it is suspicious. So what do you expect me to do? Suspect everyone, even my friends? Precisely. This is ridiculous. You know what? I've enough. I got up and left the room in anger. Alice was actually right with her assumptions, but I didn't want to admit it. Perhaps the fact that she was right was what angered me. More than anything, it bothered me that she was keeping an eye on what I was doing. I felt like a test subject in one of those human experiments. But what she said about Emma was really interesting. I still couldn't believe she was the murderer, but it was possible she could do something about the pentagrams, and if it was truly so, it could help to track down the culprit. I was sitting in my room and thinking about what Alice had said when I heard a knock on my door. Even if Alice wanted to apologize, I wasn't willing to give her a chance. Not yet. Go away. I don't want to talk with you right now. Oh, is that so? I heard the voice of one of my teachers and rushed to the door, being frightened of what I said. I'm really sorry for this, Professor Jade. I thought it was someone else. I'm not offended. I will even say it was quite amusing. But try not to talk this way with other teachers. They might not have the same reaction as me. I will keep that in mind. I don't have too much to offer, but maybe you'll like some coffee? That's very sweet of you, but I'm afraid I can't stay for too long. I just came here to tell you about the project that will represent a big part of your final grades. I know a lot of things have happened lately, but we need to continue studying. You are supposed to come to my class twice a week to develop this project. I noticed you didn't come today, and while that's not a huge problem, I would like to help you with it. Other students already have their partners. Think of it as a bunch. You get to work with someone that has experience. Thank you, I'm really sorry I missed the class. It won't happen again. Good, see you in 2 days then. Professor Jade smiled and left the room. I wasn't too happy that I had studied extra, but surely things won't be too difficult if she's going to help me. Besides, I doubt I will get much work done if she lets me study by myself. I didn't stay up late this evening. I felt exhausted after everything that happened. Sleep came easily and I was grateful for that. It's been a long time since I had such luxury. I woke up in the morning feeling rested and went about my daily routine, hoping it would be just that. Most of things seem normal, but while the last time was full of fear and terror, now I just feel empty. By the looks of it, good half of the students were gone, and I was sure even more will drop soon. I didn't meet with any of my friends, but that was probably for the best right now. I just went to my class and tried to pay attention. I was distracted, but I tried my best. Before I knew it, the day ended and I went back to my dorm. I didn't meet anyone else while passing through the park. No friends, no unfamiliar face. Even birds seemed to go into hiding as if feeling the dread that was hanging in the air. I didn't really mind that. It was nice to have some quiet time to myself. When I came back, I was able to concentrate on my assignments without anyone interrupting my studies. I even got so invested that I had fallen asleep behind my desk. Expecting the same thing to happen 2 days in a row was probably a little too optimistic because the next day I woke up with someone knocking on my door. I wanted to send to hell whoever it was, but the prospect of it possibly being a teacher once again made me consider. I opened the door and to surprise there was standing Alice and Emma. I wasn't sure what they wanted from me, but they looked worried, so I just invited them in. We need to talk, all three of us this time. I told Emma everything. I told you too, Mike. You should probably listen to her too. Not before you explain to me why both of you are here so early. It happened again. What happened? Don't tell me. Another murder. Two more actually. Dave and Professor Wills are both dead. This can't be true. I'm afraid it is, and that kind gives problems to Professor Taylor. You probably know she was trying to solve this case with police, but now their prime suspect just got murdered. Maybe they attack each other and that's how it ended? No way. They both were victims clearly. Besides, pentagrams were present too. The school really needs to do a better job at hiding these things. Although it's a good thing for us since we got more information. I'm only listening to you because Emma is with you. I'm not joining your investigation game, Alice. So what did you want to tell me, Emma? The pentagrams that you saw were made by demons. I see. It was hard to believe. I will probably be more inclined to buy into that the night I saw the red eyes, but the memory wasn't so vivid anymore. I wasn't even sure what I've seen, and even if I've seen it at all. I love to study these kind of things, and I've learned there are different pentagram symbols for different purposes. As you can imagine, there are a couple of people who try to summon demons here or there, but those are different pentagrams. They don't have the same amount of detail and the same texture. Plus, even if you want to tell that someone did something this perfect, how could they do it in such a short time? Yeah, right, listen, I understand your point, but do you really expect me to believe in something like this? The culprit is always someone who loves occult stuff just like you. Maybe he's just really talented at drawing these things? Well, one thing is clear, Dave is not suspect anymore. It's interesting how both people who had the key to the room where the last murder happened died. I'm afraid I don't find people getting murdered interesting. But can't you see? There's clear connection between them, and it's the only time we could make a connection between our victims. They were really different people after all. Look, you can suspect whoever you want, but I'm not joining this. You can say it was me, or Lily, or Kevin. You can even blame the principal for all I care. If you fancy claiming it was a demon, so be it. Just let me be, okay? I don't want to be part of this. I just want to live my life and not having to think about all these horrible murders. What do you think we can do? How can we solve a murder case when we are just three simple students? Are we going to go to the police and tell them it was a demon? Or maybe you want us to investigate and uncover something like that will get us killed? I'm quite sure we will be able of big help laying dead on the ground. I have no idea who could have done this and I don't care. I want to find out, I want to help, but it's getting out of hand. Look at the number of people that died. Do you think we can somehow stop this? I never said that, but you can try and help in any way you can. You know the police will never accept our help if you go to them. And Professor Taylor will say no as well because she wants to protect students. Which I don't know if you can tell didn't work out at all so far. Emma, thank you for the information. but I don't want to join this. Alice, as always, it has been a pleasure. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a long day ahead of me, so I'm going to attend my class. I'm sure I won't be the only one to show up. Besides, I promised Professor J that I will stay for the project. I left my room with two girls inside, not bothering that I won't be able to lock the door. That was really stupid of me, but right now I didn't want to have anything to do with them or these murders. I had nothing against Emma, and Alice actually became somewhat dear to me, but I needed to protect my mental health. Seeing more blood spill and more people falling victims to this murder was not going to do any good to my mind. I was shocked by Sarah's death, but with each new victim I start to become numb to it, and that's the last thing I want to happen. I should feel some sort of sadness or anger, but I can't feel anything anymore. At this point, I won't even be surprised if another murder happens. With these thoughts in my mind, I continued towards my first class, and unsurprisingly there weren't many people attending it. I wasn't alone though. My mood was ruined since I woke up, which made the day drag so slowly, but when the time finally came to meet Professor Jade and work on the project, I was a little excited. I remember our first lesson, which despite being controversial, fascinated me quite a lot. This time she gave me a stack of papers documenting an experiment from the last century. Professor J wanted me to write down my thoughts on how to change the behavior of the subject. She also asked me to pay special attention to the mental state of the doctors conducting the experiment. It didn't take long until I could see that the doctors themselves ended up being subjects of the experiment, same as the people they tested, possibly even more so. I've been working for a couple of hours when I noticed it was already dark outside. I decided to have a final discussion with Professor J before I can go to the dorm. Professor J, I have finished my notes on the experiment. It was really interesting, I must say. I'm happy you liked it. Even though it was pretty brutal, it did its job at the time. It's interesting to see how people change their behavior depending on their role in society and what opportunities they might have. I already noticed that about other experiments, but I was surprised on how one can still change us as a person, even if it gets a fake role. That's true. People usually resort to the simplest solutions and use anything they can for their own benefit. For example, some teachers only think of themselves and not the students. They forget how tough it is to study certain subjects or how students have to balance their social life and studies. Likewise, some students don't think about what it means to be a teacher. To be fair, most of them can't understand it. But both of them use simple rules that help them. If students were to become teachers, some will take advantage of that and will abuse the little power they were given. And if teachers became students, they will probably change and be influenced more by their group rather than the laws of the university or moral code. I see. That's something that might be fun to see, to be honest. Do you think you will be a good teacher or abuse your power, Mike? I would like to think that I will be still fair with everyone, but it's easy to say that when you just imagine things. Reality might end up being different. What do you think about people who kill for a living? The ones that say they have no choice in matter. Kill for a living? Like soldiers, you mean? Well, yes, like soldiers too. Do you think they sit in any of these categories? Are they the ones who abuse the power or the ones who don't have to have it? It's hard to say. I think it depends on specifics, but personally I think you always have a choice in matter. Always? That's interesting. It might mean harm to yourself, but it's a choice. For example, you can refuse to kill or rob someone, but you might end up starving or other members of your social group will punish you for it. It's a dangerous choice, but it is one, right? I wish it was that simple, Mike. I wish everyone would be able to make a choice and just continue on with their lives. But sometimes you get born with power and you have no choice but to embrace it. I'm sorry for having to do this, but I need it. I was focusing on our discussion so much that I didn't notice something was starting to feel off about Professor Jade. There you go, I think it's Professor Jade that is doing this. That is killing because to do some tests that she was always doing. let's go through. She was now approaching me slowly and I could see a twisted smile forming on her face. What the fuck is that? It was kind of small that sends shivers down your spine and makes you think that something has broken inside that person who wears it. Before I could notice it, her face wasn't that of a human anymore. Oh my god! She had eyes and fangs of a beast, curved horns top of her skull. She slowly reached towards me with a hand that had claws in her place of fingers. A swift slash brought me back to reality. I backed away at last moment, and that was what saved me. Seeing pain flash across my shoulder. Ah, what the? I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but I need to perform the ritual. I just can't put it off any longer. What are you talking about? Who are you? The right question is not who I am, but what I am. Although I think you already know the answer, you are just scared to admit it. What? No, I don't. I tried to crawl back as if I was going to help. It was going to help me. Professor J slowly followed me with elegant yet confident steps. It makes no difference to me anyway. I just need your body. I don't need you to acknowledge me. She was right. I knew what she was, but I couldn't say it out loud. Burning pain in my arm was destroying my sense, and I had to use my other hand to try and stop the bleeding. I was down on the floor in front of a demon thirsty for my blood. There was no mistake what Professor Jade was, and there was no mistake what was going to happen to me. I tried to stand up, but instantly collapsed. It was hard to believe she managed to cut so deep in my flesh. I was weak. I lost so much blood it was hard to move, but even I would have no chance of fighting back. My vision started to blur and I was beginning to lose consciousness. I could see the demon approaching me, prepared to strike a final blow. Why? Why did you do it? Why did you kill Sarah and the others? Oh, don't sound so angry. I didn't do it for pleasure. I needed them to stay in my human form. Besides, I didn't kill. What? Just when Professor J was ready to kill me, someone tackled the demon and now they were fighting on the ground. I could only make out two people trying to kill each other. Suddenly, a strange and horrible sound filled the classroom. The startled howl of a beast agonizing in pain, and then it all stopped abruptly, and silence enveloped space. I wasn't sure what had happened, but it saved me, if only for a moment. I was lying with my eyes closed while still trying to hold the wound on my shoulder when I felt someone approach and bent over me. Hang in there. And then I fainted. I came to my sense sometime later. My head hurt. It felt like someone repeatedly hit me with a hammer until my skull broke open. I wanted to throw up. I tried to open my eyes, but it required too much effort. I blacked out once again. A soft voice woke me up. A gentle song pierced in the darkness. The voice seemed sweet and familiar. I opened my eyes and a powerful light blinded me, shielding from its brightness with my good arm. I tried to figure out where I was and who did the voice belong to. Easy there. Don't move too much and try not to strain yourself. And don't talk too much either. You need rest. It was Alice, and I was still alive apparently. A pleasant thought, although it didn't diminish the pain and weakness I felt. With my eyes half closed, I managed to sit on my bed, not without Alice's help though. She gave me a glass of water. I wanted to drink it all at once, but Alice was holding it for me so I don't choke. My shoulder was still hurting like hell, but at least it wasn't bleeding anymore, and I could feel my arm. After a couple of minutes, I managed to fully open my eyes, and I saw that I was back in my dorm room, and Alice was sitting in a chair next to me. She seemed quite cheerful. I'm glad you are fine. I was starting to worry you won't wake up. I mean, the doctors say you'll be fine. I just want to make sure. Thank you, it's very nice of you. I just couldn't leave you alone after everything that happened. But what exactly did happen? I'm sure you noticed the horrible secret Professor Jade had. It was hard to miss given the situation. Right. At that moment, the door opened and another visitor entered my room. It was Emma. I could notice she was happy to see me recovering. It felt nice to be taken care of and to see someone having interest in my well-being, even though I was still a little shocked by what happened. Hi Emma. Hello, I can see you are doing well. To an extent. Emma glanced at Alice. If I'm bothering you too, I can come back later. No, not at all. It's actually great that you are here. I was just going to explain to Mike what happened that day, so maybe you can help me with that. Yeah, sure. That morning when you left, we went to Emma's room. She said we have to be prepared in case demon attack us. Yes, you can't face a demon empty-handed. Not if you want to survive the encounter at least. Then we conducted a ritual. Well, Emma did. She lit the candles and drew all sorts of signs, but I was there too. A ritual? That sounds sketchy as hell. What do you do? We needed to imbue a weapon with power to wound a demon. You have to sacrifice some of your blood on this weapon to enhance it. Where do you get a weapon? I borrowed a knife from our kitchen. Really? What? We had to something. Besides, it served its purpose well enough. Anyway, when we were done, we went to our class. But when I returned, you were nowhere to find, so what? So I sneaked into your room because I realized you didn't lock it in the morning, and I managed to find your timetable. You have a habit of picking through other people's possessions simply because the door is open? Listen, I'm not proud of it, but in the end it was the right thing to do. It saved your life after all. Or do you think it would be better if you were dead right now? I suppose not. So what happened next? I saw your timetable and I saw you had a late class. It bothered me. It was also getting dark and I started to worry something might happen to you on your way back. I took the knife and went to your class. I can't believe you actually brought a knife to university. People carry all sorts of things in their bags. Nobody will know unless they search you. I didn't do it on a whim. It was important. When I finally found your class, I saw it. I couldn't believe my eyes at first, but then I recognized the silhouette. So much I like the one I saw the night when Sarah. I saw you bleeding on the floor. I saw her raising her hand. I just couldn't let it happen. So I lunged at the demon with my knife in hands. That was very, very brave of you. I don't think I will be able to do that. Trust me, you would have done the same if you were there. I wish I could say I would have done that, but Emma's right, you are such a brave person. I'm sorry I didn't believe you that morning. I get it, it sounded too bizarre for you to simply take my word off for it. Besides, I never knew if it was true until I saw everything with my own eyes. What happened to Professor Jade's body? Did she become human after death, or did she simply disappear? How did you explain all of that? I was afraid she would turn back to her human form, but lucky for us, it didn't happen. So we went straight to the police. We told them exactly what we saw, and while they couldn't believe at first, the evidence was right there in front of their eyes. So Professor Jade is dead? The killing will finally stop now? It appears so. I can't believe she was actually a demon. There are so many things that happened in the past couple of days, but at the end of it, I'm just happy we finally got the murder. The police are still trying to figure out the details, but they considered the case pretty much closed. Considering she tried to kill you, I think that's proof enough. It's gonna be enough? Who knows? By the way, Emma, when Professor Jade was attacking me, she said something about killing to maintain her form. Do you know anything about that? I will need to search a little more about it. But I think demons require certain rituals to keep their form hidden from humans. I will look into it and let you know if I can find out anything. You don't have too much to do for me. You both already saved my life. I will feel bad giving you even more trouble. Oh, don't worry. I enjoy reading about these kind of things. If you say so. I should probably go. I haven't done the homework yet, and I wouldn't want to fall behind with my grades. Emma left the room in a hurry, and I wasn't sure if she did that because she was excited that someone was interested in her hobby, or simply because she wanted to leave me and Alice alone. Probably both. So, how do you feel after all of this, now that everything is over? Relieved, I suppose. Nothing can bring those people back, and I doubt I will ever forget what happened to Sarah, but it feels good to know that we caught the culprit, at least. And we also learned they weren't murdered just for the sake of it, even though it's hardly an excuse. None of them did anything wrong, they just ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm glad you feel better. I'm asking because I feel uneasy, to be honest. What's wrong? Were you expecting something different? I don't know really. Maybe I just need a bit more time. I think we're just tired. You have been looking after me for a long time. You need some rest as well. You're right. I will leave you then and do just that. Get well. You too. Alice waved goodbye and slowly left the room. The contrast between her caring nature right now and the usual full of life and aggressive Alice was quite dramatic. Regardless, it felt nice to see her tender side. I gave a thought to what Alice said about her feeling unease and realized I feel a little incomplete too. Maybe that's just the realization that everything was over and we'll be back to normal soon. It was part of my mind trying to procrastinate because I knew I needed to study a lot to catch up with everything I missed during my absence. I wonder if things will be the same as before and students will come back to the university. Will they even be allowed to? I miss this place being alive and cheerful. The depressing state the university was in right now broke my heart. A knock on my door interrupted my thoughts. I managed to get out of my bed to let in Kevin and Lily. Kevin was his usual self, confident and upbeat. Lily being soft person she was handed me a flower bouquet with a sad smile. Thank you. I think your room is in dire need of this. Kevin was really worried about you. He wanted to know every tiny detail about what happened. I needed to take care of my bro. I'm sorry you had to go through all of that, but I'm glad it's all over. Who would have thought Professor J was behind all these horrible murders? Trust me, I was shocked as you when I learned about it. I just wish I didn't have to learn about it firsthand. I know you should rest now, but I have a question. Go ahead, I can take it. Is it true that what the rumors are saying? What are they saying? That Professor J was some sort of demon and tried to kill you? Considering the state of my arm, I can assure you that she wanted me dead. As for the other part, I'm pretty sure you can describe her as one and it's not a figure of speech. I know it's hard to believe it without seeing what she looked like with her own eyes, but trust me, you don't want to. You are probably right, I don't really have a stomach for such things. It's so sad she was forced to do it. I know she killed others, but I miss her as a teacher. Yeah, she was a little weird, but she seemed passionate about her job. Sorry bro, I know she wanted to kill you. I didn't mean it that way. I know. Don't worry about it. I realized that we will have our university projects really soon. Hopefully I can be back shortly. If you need notes from any class, I can give you mine. Maybe you can go at least to some of the lessons. Are you feeling as bad as you look? Does it look that bad? I should be back in good shape in a couple of days, I think. I'll have to check with the doctor on that. Thankfully there is no lasting damage, unless Alice really didn't want to mention that. So she's been here already? I thought I would be the first to visit you, but she beat me to it. You were just a little too slow, but it's not like I appreciate it less just because you came later. Right, I just want you to know I'm there for you if you need me. Thanks, it means a lot to me, really. What's it like outside? As you can probably imagine, this murder case was all over the news. Minus the details about Professor Jade being a demon, of course. I think they want to keep that part hidden and don't blame them. Yeah, it will be kind of shocking for people to hear about it, and it will probably ruin the university reputation even more than it already did by now. Do you think it means fewer students will come next year? I have to say that I was thinking of leaving this place at times too, so I won't be surprised. But who knows, maybe in a year all of this will be almost forgotten and our university might be back to normal. I want that more than you since I never got to experience it before the incident. That's true. Well, let's hope that a day like that will come soon. I will let you rest more, but I might come back tomorrow. Call me if you need anything. Will do. See you. Bye. Bye. Everyone was so nice to me today. Makes me think it was almost worth to get injured like this. Of course, my body had an instant reminded me of the pain, so I had to change my mind. I decided to take Alice's advice and have some rest. I was lying in my bed thinking of all the nice moments that all of us will have in the future, and with that in mind, I drifted to sleep. A loud noise woke me up early in the morning. Somebody was banging on my door. I managed to get to my sense and threw a pillow at the door, but unfortunately the response from the person on the other side was to start talking loudly instead of going away. Please, open the door, this is important. Annoyed, I mumbled something while getting up and opening the door. It was Alice. She looked extremely worried. What happened this time? Did someone set the universe on fire and now the invasion is upon us? I just want a little bit of peace. How can I get that in here? Another one. Another what? I know it's not what you would like to hear, but someone else died last night. Oh, for the love of everything that is holy. I thought we are over with this. How is it possible? Do you have any ideas? What about police? I don't know. I came to your room as soon as I found about it. Most of the students are packing up. Just then I could hear another knock on my door. It feels more like a train station than my room right now. I opened the door and another worried face made its appearance. Another case happened. Oh, hi Alice. You are the second one for today, as you can tell, so please explain why did you both come to me? I really appreciate it, but I have no idea what's happening either. I might have something that can help us. Do you remember how we talked about the pentagram and rituals? It's kind of tall to forget if I'm being honest. Well, I did more research and believe me, when I say these things were not easy to find. Apparently male and female demons have different way of feeding with energy to hide their form. Males use one type of pentagram, females another one. Then I realized the pentagrams we saw at the crime scenes were not exactly the same. Not only that, but males also wound their victims more heavily to show their dominance while females don't. Okay? Sarah. That could mean someone else murdered her. Yeah, because the guy didn't have the wounds and Sarah had. So it's two different demons that exist. I was wondering why her body was in such horrible state, considering we didn't hear any fight. So that's the gist of it. It's quite likely that Professor J murdered only some of the victims that didn't have injuries, and might still have another demon on our hands. It's hard pill to swallow, but if what you are saying is true, it might be our only explanation. I have something I want to say too. You know how we all accept that Professor J was the only culprit? Well, I thought for a long time about it and I understood why I was feeling uneasy. Almost all the murders could be done by her, except one, Sarah. How would have Professor J sneak into the dorm without any of us noticing? Why couldn't she? It was the night after all. That's what I thought too. So I asked around at school and it turned out that apparently at that hour she was with two other teachers talking about the projects that we'll have this semester. I found it weird that she will stay at work so late, but two different people were able to confirm it, which means another murder is someone from our dorm most likely. But who? Most of the students left and you can count the remaining ones on your fingers. Look, this might sound crazy, but do you both trust me? I do. I took a look at Alice's face. Could she be someone who would deceive us like that? I was not sure what to respond, but how could I say no after she saved my life? Yes, I trust you. How about all of us sleep together tonight, here in the same room? Wait, what? If the murder is someone from this building, they might try to come after anyone. The last victim was someone from the 5th floor. You would think they will close the doors at this rate. How is the situation between students? Not good. The farms are full of scared and angry people. Everyone either wants to go home or already done that. Okay? Maybe we should do the same? Well, I don't want to drag you in, so if you want to leave, you should do just that. I look again at Alice and Emma. Was I some sort of an idiot? To risk my life and keep playing a detective? Have I not learned my lesson? But they did risk their lives for me. How can I turn my back on them? I can't do something like that. I shouldn't do that. Alright, I'm with you on this one. I guess we need to finish what we started. If there is indeed another demon out there, we seem like the perfect team to take it out. Let's do it then. Should we maybe choose another room instead of staying here? If Mike is alright with it, I think here is better. Besides, it would be problematic to drag him around in his condition. speaking as if I'm not even here, but she's right as usual. But don't say anything to others, please. I had to do this, but until we can be sure everyone is a suspect. We all parted ways with the promise to meet here again. While this was not the time for thoughts like this, I was somewhat nervous to have two girls sleeping in the same room. The gravity of the situation hit me hard immediately when I heard another knock at the door. I went to open it, and in front of me was Kevin. He was alone this time. I'm sorry I came to you like this, but I need to talk to you. Surely by now you have heard that there is another victim, and it was one of the guys in our dorm. I'm starting to suspect someone in here might do it, and I'm not really sure how to say it since it looks like the two of you are friends. Just say it, it's not like I'm going to get mad at you. Thanks, bro. I don't want to get me wrong, but I'm suspecting Alice. Alice? Why? She knows a lot, and every time something happens, she's the first to report about it. She recently started to hang around Emma. I heard them talk about demons and stuff like that. What if they are working together or Alice is using Emma? You got to this conclusion because you heard them talking about demons? Kevin, the whole school is talking about that. I don't know if you noticed, but a certain amount of murders happened and a demon did them. It's not only that, they both just seem too close and I can't really explain how they are always at the perfect spot at the perfect time. I don't know, intuition? Look, I understand you suspect the others, but without any proof, it's just that, suspicious. Just because they talk about demons and take interest in solving the case, it doesn't mean that they are behind it. Besides, what makes you sure I did do it? Maybe Professor J wanted to kill me because I was destroying her plans? Now that you are saying it out loud, this can be possible. But still, I doubt she would hurt one of her own. Don't humans always do that? Why would it be so weird for a demon to do it? Because demons are rare. Imagine if you see someone from your little town right here, we will have some sort of connection with them and will try to help and protect them, no? I guess that's a good point, but depending on the circumstance, I might also want to compete with that person. I was worried you will not listen to me since you seem to like Alice a lot. I'm not into her or anything like that. I just don't think she's the murderer. Listen, you survive an evening with Professor J, but you might not get so lucky if you meet one of them again. And I wouldn't want you to die, so please, watch your back, okay? Fine. Now let me rest a bit. I will tell you if I see anything suspicious. Is that good enough? That will have to do for now. Have a good rest. Also, after all of this is over, let's go to the lake near the park. Do you remember how I told you about it on first day when we met? Yes, we never got the chance to go since all of this has happened, but we'll go after everything comes back to normal. That's what I want to hear. Take care. Go to the lake alone? I start to suspect Kevin too. The door closed behind Kevin and again I was left with my own thoughts. So he suspects Alice and Emma, huh? I'm not sure if it's such a baseless accusation. To be fair, he has made some points and Alice told me she was there on the first night, but why would she tell me so much if she had any of this? The same goes for Emma. Why would she not hide all the information about demons? Was that what they are calling hiding in plain sight? I wish there was an easy answer to all of this, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like I will get it to this quick. I spent the whole day cleaning up the room and listening to music. Then I set myself in any way possible from thinking about the murders or who could be behind them, since it was starting to take a toll on my mind. Late in the evening, both Emma and Alice joined me and locked my room carefully. The girls insisted I should sleep on the bed, but I couldn't do that, so Emma was sleeping in my bed while me and Alice sat on the floor. I miss days like these, you know. What are you talking about? I used to have sleepovers with my friends. We'd invite each other to have a little party and then stay in the same room, spend all night talking. I know we will grow up, but I miss that feeling. I miss being safe and happy. When we get through all of this, we can have the best sleepover ever. Things might look grim now, but I hope we'll pull through. I never really thought about something like this before. I used to hear about wars on the radio or some kind of natural disaster in another country, and while I was concerned to hear about it, it was never something that I was directly involved in. It will be over soon, we just need to hold out a little longer. We can only hope you are right. Do you have any plans for tomorrow? Probably going to check on my class and see if anyone comes. Want to go outside and take a walk around the park and try to relax. Can't wait until it's over. It's frustrating for everyone, but what can we do? The best idea for now is to wait and see if we can gather any more clues. We all agree and continue to do some small talk for the rest of the night. Emma was the first of us to fall asleep. It was almost morning. To my surprise, I kept talking with Alice, and before we knew, the sun was up and we didn't even got a minute of sleep. Well, I can always sleep during the day since I will be inside, but I was a little concerned for Alice. The girls woke up, and after I made sure there was no one in the hallway, they left my room. We didn't want to create some sort of stupid rumors as to why they were sleeping in my room, so we had to be careful. The day was passing pretty slowly and I was waiting on someone to come and at least say hi, but the darkness was enveloping the sky outside and still no one came. I was starting to worry that something happened when I got the call. Hi there, I thought you already forgot about me. Hello there, Mike, I'm happy to hear you. The phone number belonged to Alice, but the voice sounded distorted and unfamiliar. I wasn't even sure if it was a female or a male because whoever this was, they were hiding their tone really well. Who is this? What's happening? You should be happy that I called. I'm not usually into things like this, but since you are special, I want to have a chat with you. Oh my god. I'm honored, but it will be easier if I knew what you are talking about. At least let me know who are you. That's a good try, but no one is that stupid. Listen, you might not know the real me, but you know me. I want us to meet and have a little talk if you are interested. But for that, you'll have to figure out who and where am I. What is this sick game? I have no idea how you got Alice's phone, but I'm not going to have anything to do with you. You could do that, but you would mean someone else will have to die tonight. So it's your decision. You figure it out and come meet me or you have a blood on your hands. Pretty simple, right? Oh shit. That's gonna be this kind of weird because I'm using the phone of Alice. Hey, you can do the person on the phone and the call. Is this the one that killed the last victim? If so, is this person going to be a demon too? I just don't understand. Even if I will figure out who the culprit is, how am I going to know where they are? Was this person threatening to kill Alice or someone else? I assume if they have her phone, they have her to somewhere. Hopefully it's not too late and I can do something about it. I need to think and I need to do it fast. Let's go through what the voice on the phone said. They said that I know who they are, so it must be someone close to me, which is pretty big clue. That could only mean one of the professors. One of the professors, Emma, Kevin, Lily, and Alice. It sounds stupid to not exclude her, but I need to think of all the possibilities. Professor Taylor intervened to not let the police question students, but she was also eager to solve the case. I can't really see any reason why she would do that if she was the murderer. Besides, any professors will have a hard time sneaking into the dorm to kill Sarah. That's true, because they can't. Emma loves to talk about occult things, but she also helped Alice to kill the demon. She could have lied to me, but of course, but was it really in her best interest to do something like that? I remember how she was looking at the pentagram after the first murder, but it was because she realized it is different. But then why help us with all the extra information? If it wasn't Emma, we would have never understood what was going on. Lily has a motive because she doesn't have money to stay here for the next semester. But is that really a reason enough to kill people? As for Kevin, he always nice and helpful to me, so I don't see why he would do it. True, he did suspect Alice, but that doesn't mean he is the culprit. As I told him, just because someone is acting suspicious, it doesn't mean they are guilty. For that, we need some sort of proof. I feel like I'm running out of time. Think, Mike, think. Was there something out of place that any of them said recently? It's so sad she was forced to do it. Because demons are rare. They are always at the perfect spot at the perfect time. How did you know that Professor Jade felt forced to murder? Aside from me, only Emma and Alice knew about it, and they just left the room when Kevin entered. And not only that, Emma said that when they have wounds, means that was a male, and without wounds, it was a female, meaning that Professor Jade killed the others because they didn't have wounds, and Sarah had wounds that was a male to show he was strong. Easy. Also, how did he know that Alice has been following me? If Emma was right and the second demon is a male, that will explain everything. The lake. He kept talking about it so much. He has to be there. I need to go. There is no time to lose. I put on my clothes in a hurry and rushed out of my room. I was sure I woke up the entire building, but I couldn't waste time on any of this, because someone might die if I don't get there soon enough. I was running as fast as I could, and my shoulder was starting to hurt again. My vision started to blur, but I couldn't do my way towards the lake, and after what I felt like an eternity, I arrived there. It didn't seem that anyone was around, though. Could I be wrong? What if it wasn't the place? What if I was wrong to assume Kevin was behind it? My doubts vanished when I noticed a shadow behind the trees. The person I thought was my friend stood there with his feature twisted by his demonic appearance. There you go. Because professors couldn't enter the dorm, so it had to be a student, and it was a male. Kevin. I almost impressed. You figured it out. I believe in you, but I start to think you are going to disappoint me. Where is Alice? Why are you so obsessed with her? Don't you think it will be wise to worry about yourself? Alice is safe, along with her friend. Stop looking at me like that. They aren't dead, for now at least. What do you want from me? I think I already said that over the phone. Can you please pay at least some attention to me, bro? I just want us to talk for a little bit. You know, I really want the two of us to be friends, but you seem to have other interests. This has nothing to do with you killing Sarah. Have you killed anyone else? Maybe. What does it matter? They are dead and useless now. The ones that are still alive interest me much more, like you for example. How did you figure out it was me? You talk too much about things normal people wouldn't know. Oh, that indeed is bad. I got used to it so much that I forgot to stop my mouth from talking. You probably understand how this works, but we need to kill people and perform a ritual to hide our form, to hide between humans. What do you gain from this? There is some satisfaction in killing someone and seeing how they are all powerless. See, I'm not as young and innocent as you might think. I kill a lot of people, but you and Alice were the first that came close to uncover my identity. I could tell that girl would be a pain in the ass since I first met her. She kept sticking her nose where it didn't belong. I knew that eventually I would get rid of her, but when you have all this power, you can afford to play a little with your prey, don't you think so? Do you even realize how sick it is? You are killing people simply for the fun of it, and it doesn't mean a thing to you. I need to hide among humans. But you are right, I must do it for fun. Even so, what makes you think I don't wish to be a normal person sometimes? Do you think society will accept me like this? They might if you stop murdering. Don't be delusional. They will cage me like a beast, thinking I will kill them. All my friends will be afraid to go out with me, and they will betray me at any possible chance. Would you really accept me if the first thing you saw were my claws and fangs? I don't know about the others, but I think I will accept you. But what is your solution then? Go around and kill people just to prove a point? Why not try and do something about it? Believe me, I speak from experience. I try to be friends with some humans, but it never turns out well. When I saw you though, I could feel you are special. No, you don't have any special powers, but you and Alice think differently. I could put Emma in that category too, but I think she's just a tad crazy, but she won't understand it. But the two of you are logical beings. You are both at the place of the same murder, so call it destiny if you will. More like a sick joke than a destiny. Do you really think you are going to be able to get away with this? And yet again, you are not paying attention. I've been doing this for some years by now. Don't be fooled by my face. This form looks young, but I should assure you that I'm not. Tell me, What do you think about all of this? Do you like my demon form? What about Professor Jade? Does it frighten you, perhaps? I can't even look in the eyes. See, I told you that you will not accept me. You are wrong. It's not because you are scary or ugly. It's not because I'm afraid of you. It's because I feel sick looking into your soul. It disgusts me, and I feel pity for you. Professor J was different. She was sorry. Her demon nature was pain to her. But you seemed way beyond the point of salvation. It's funny how you praise the woman who almost killed you. She was an interesting person, and she was truly passionate about her job, but still she couldn't stop killing. She must have felt horrible not being accepted, but enough of this. As a token of appreciation, I will answer your question before I kill you. You are really generous, but I don't think you should be certain you can kill me. Please, there is only one way this can end. I just want to say my last goodbye to you and to have a little chat between friends. It saddens me we didn't get to visit the lake before, but look at us now. Kevin grinned and then burst into mad laughter while pointing his finger at the lake. The park was quite distance away from the camp, so I doubt anyone would have heard him, but even if somebody could, would they even dare to come here? Look, even the moonshine light opened the lake. What a perfect time to be with your friends. Now, I ask one last time. Do you have anything you want to know? Why? Why what? Why Sarah? Why the last guy? Why not someone else? Kevin left out a big sigh and pointed his gaze towards the moon. They did nothing wrong. They didn't do it because they were gullible people, even though that sir helped me. I didn't even care who it will be. I just picked whoever was available to us. Isn't this what life is? I never want to be born like this, but it happened. That's all there is to it. Just bad luck. Call it a horrible fate or a wicked destiny if you wish, but that's the only reason there was. Now, I promise you a nice ending, and I will give you just that. As a reward for your courage to come here, I'm going to let Alice and Emma live, but only if they will leave this place. But that's later. Right now, I have you. Whoa, look at that. They're going to attack us. Anticipating Kevin's attack, I tried to assume a fighting stance. There was no way I could fight against a demon, but that wasn't my actual plan. I didn't have any arms and one of my arms was largely useless, so my plan was to go out swing and resist as much as I can. I felt sorry for Kevin and for what he had to go through, but this wasn't the way to go about it. This wasn't the right way to live. Kevin threw himself at me and with big difficulty I managed to sidestep and evade his attack. He regained his posture immediately and continued to attack me faster and faster with each blow. This was a terrible picture, a grotesque violent dance that was only watched by the big white moon above us. It felt like none of us wanted this, but we both knew it was going to happen, and in the end one of us will die. Most likely me, but not if I can help it. After multiple attempts, Kevin managed to strike me down. It was my other arm that was bleeding now. I was on the ground and unable to move, paralyzed by but this time not by fear. The person in front of me wasn't scaring me, he was making me sad. I felt like I had to fight for the ideal that he never managed to get to. So I used all the strength I had left and stood up. And then I heard a sound, an object cutting through the air right next to my ear. Kevin screamed, "Oof, a knife into the end." Kevin screamed while holding his right hand penetrated by a knife. Ah! I knew I should have killed you as soon as we met. I think I'm starting to get better at this, so I got here so late. I'm still breathing, so it's not too late yet. You'll both feel sorry for doing this. As I said, there are no real friends, just people who have goals in life. If that's the path you chose in your life, then you deserve to die. Kevin lashed at me. You knew I won't be able to defend myself anymore. No matter how hard I tried to move, my legs wouldn't listen. But Alice was quicker than Kevin. She jumped on him, not being able to handle the force of the impact. Kevin toppled and they both crumbled to the ground. That hurt more for Alice than Kevin, but she had to do something. They were both now struggling on the ground, and each time Kevin tried to get up, Alice pulled him down. I was stumbling as well, but did my best to stand up and reach for the knife that lay in the grass. I tried to hit Kevin with it, and even though it deflected my blow, I managed to cut him slightly. Now, with everyone in pain, I made another effort. I was again on top of him, barely able to hold the knife. It was traveling and I couldn't get the strength to kill him. Let's do it together and all of this for good. I was grabbing my hand with her own. Now I was holding the knife and she was holding my hand to give me strength. We pushed it down simultaneously and the knife thrust directly into Kevin's chest. In an instant he stopped moving and was now gone from this world. I was still trembling and almost started to cry seeing him there in this state. Even though I barely knew him, he was my friend, and the other words he said before our fight caught to me. He clearly wished this to end differently, but when he met us, he was too far gone. I always shared my thoughts proudly and put a hand on my shoulder, comforting me. Where is Emma? Tell me she's alright. Carrie got her too. I tried to wake her up, but she wasn't responding. Don't worry, she's not dead. I hope everything is finally over. I just wish we could have done something about it sooner. Yeah, then Sarah and others wouldn't have to die. While we were talking, Emma emerged from behind the trees. She seemed exhausted but unarmed. I looked up. The moon indeed was beautiful tonight. It cast bright reflection on the still waters of the lake, creating quite a scenery. I guess Kevin chose this place because of what it meant to him. Girls, can you help me with something, please? A week passed since Kevin died, but no one knew about it. Some people are suspicious, but me and the girls tried to keep this between us. We told Lily and the others that Kevin had to change university because of family problem. As for what we did with this body, that's why I needed the girls. I thought we should bury him properly, so I chose a place near the lake, because he liked the lake, that's why. I know it was really weird and probably even creepy, but this place meant a lot to him. It was the place where he liked to spend his time, and also the place where he met his demise and passed away from this world. It was a sunny day. I was sitting on the bench near the lake with Alice and Emma. The three of us got even closer and we often spent time here after university. Hey, what's in your mind? I was thinking about Kevin, wondering what kind of life he had. I'm glad that everything slowly gets back to normal. Some of us even returned. Really? I hope we'll still have space in our building. She said some students. It's not like we'll getting a lot more in the near future. But hopefully people start to have more trust in this place again. It feels wrong that we lied to the police and Professor Taylor. We had to do it. Do you think they suspect anything? The police might, but I don't think they will go further with this. As for Professor Taylor, I think she's just happy that she can teach again without worrying about anything else. So I doubt she will push us for more information. Time will pass and people will start to forget about it. Speaking of Professor Taylor, I realize we'll have our first partial exam soon. Have you studied? Don't look at me like that. I had to recover at home, so I couldn't really do anything about it. You'll have to double your efforts now. There won't be any other excuse. I know. I'll do my best from now on, I promise. Hey, do you think there are other demons out there in the world? I hope not. It will be sad both for them and for other people who will most likely end up killed. It's been said there are only few strong demons in the world, but of course, no one ever could prove that. There might be other like Kevin, but I guess we'll have heard about it because of the pentagrams. They could also keep it hidden from us, but I assume there is no point in stressing about it now. I just wish we could learn more about this, but maybe in the future. Emma and Alice continued to talk and I was left alone with my thoughts. Or rather, I want to be left alone only with my minds. I advanced a little and I took a seat near the tree closest to the lake. I just wanted to be there and look at the water, trying to understand why Kevin liked this place so much. I want to end this chapter of my life on a good note. Those days of Mars have been appalling, and some of that horror was still vivid in my mind. It hurt a lot that one of the killers was close to me, but I also felt more ease because I knew his somewhat other reason. Was it a good reason? I couldn't tell that. I honestly didn't think there is ever a good reason to kill someone, unless maybe in self-defense or to save others. But even then, it's just the old moral problem with the train. Do you save one person or do you save more? Do you care if they are close to you or do you try to do the right thing? Would I be more sad if the killer was someone that I didn't know, like Professor Jade? Well, she did kill some of the people and I didn't feel too different about her, since her situation was same as Kevin. I guess it's true what they say, you get soft regarding any person if you know their story. If I only heard about this case on the news, I would probably hate Kevin and consider him a lunatic, just someone that was killing for pleasure and with no real reason. But I was sitting here, almost celebrating his life near the place he enjoyed. I was little close to him, but it's not like I knew him that well. Was this really the right thing to do, or did I refuse to accept the reality of what happened? I didn't have the answers to all the questions. Looking down at what I wished that my future life would be calm as the lake at that moment. Wouldn't that be nice? To not worry about anything and not to think if the decisions I took in the past were the right ones? I must have been pretty lost in my thoughts because I didn't notice when Alice sat next to me. You're having doubts about what we did, do you? Well, some sort of. It feels right, but also wrong at the same time. I remember him as a cool guy, but also as that monster who killed people. Imagine what their families are going through right now. But think about what Kevin and Professor J had to go through too. Look, I'm not saying they were admirable people or that they had the right to do what they did, but let me put it this way. Our memories are not about Kevin the killer. We are remembering Kevin who was our friend, and what we could have been if he didn't have this curse, or whatever you want to call it. Because I truly believe that Kevin that talked with us wasn't a fake one. We were trying to remember that there could be a good in anyone. You're right, I'll try to remember that. I went towards the tree and carved a K letter on it, just to remember that we should always be there for the people that need our help. One horrible chapter of my life ended and another one is going to start now. I hope that this new chapter will be the one that will make others smile. It needs to be a chapter of realizations and understanding because at the end of the day, that was what drove Kevin mad. I took one last look at the lake and decided to leave the place. Goodbye, my friend, that could have been, but never had the chance to be. Well, it was fast the ending there. Okay, that's the end. You can see that it's between 1 to 2 hours. It's a good story. It's like, okay, there's some. It's a mystery game, but at the same time, there's a good story because it's showing that Kevin want to be friends, but he had a curse. In his mind, he was thinking that people won't accept him because he was a demon. And so he was killing everyone only to call attention to him, right? No, of course nobody will know, but wanted people to talk with him. And when he showed, because we were paying more attention to Alice and Emma, right, to try to find who was the demons, we weren't paying attention to him, so he was killing more, like that he could talk with us. And when he showed his true face, we were saying that you say that you want to be our friend, but he couldn't because he was a demon and wouldn't accept him. So it has a sad story in there that is like the demons want to be friends, but they couldn't because they knew the people, the students right out of the university, wouldn't accept them in the welcome among them. So it's kind of sad story, but at the same time it's good because you start to think, okay, you see Sarah, you think that's gonna be a character that will be in the game, but then she dies, and you are like, okay, it has to be someone in the university, right? And then you see that Professor Jade, she starts talking about that experiment, right? And you are like, maybe it's Professor Jade that is the evil, right? That's killing everyone. But then when you kill Professor Jade, Emma says that she noticed that there was 2 different pentagrams, and the students were were killed differently because one pentagram was made for a female and the other was male, and there's other difference too. Sarah was with wounds and the others didn't have, and then when she explained that the female wouldn't wound nobody because it was killing for pleasure, the male will kill people and leave wounds on the person that they killed. That was to show power, and you are like, okay, they must be someone else. But then when they say that university on the dorms only students could walk on the dorms, you immediately think you only met one male in the entire game. You only met one male, so it will mean it was Kevin. Because if the game will introduce more males, you could say, okay, can be that guy or can be that guy, but they all introduced one, so you could immediately say that was Kevin. But it's like the story is good, but at the same time sad, because in the end, like in our thoughts, our character, right, is like say that you want to be good, that Kevin want to be good, but he couldn't because he had that curse. So at the same time, it's sad at the end of the story, because you see that Kevin want to be friends, but he couldn't because he was a demon. It's kind of sad, but it's good, the story. I like it. Like I always say, visual novels need to have good story. It had a good story. In terms of artwork, yes, if you go compare with other games, it's not the best artwork, but for a super indie team, a super indie developer, it's a good artwork. And longevity, like I always say, between 2 to 4 hours, always good, because people don't get bored. Because you are reading and the story can get bored, because if you try to prolong a lot. So they did a good job, they understood what they need to do. The only thing missing was the multiple ending, because on visual novels, if you put multiple endings, people enjoy more because you have more replayability. But overall, it was I was expecting. That good story, good artwork, good longevity, that I won't get bored with the story. And it calls the attention to the story, because you think that you already ended with the demon, but then there is another demon and you need to be careful. So very good game, good game. Now it's hoping that they continue making, like it's a super indie team. I would love to see future games of them. Like if they continue with visual novels, if they want to go to visual novels with more stories, it will always be good to see more visual novels. What I will say, if they continue making more games and visual novels, I will say just put multiple endings too, like that people will enjoy more and more, because they have replayability. This is the only thing that I will say for the game, because the rest of the game, good artwork, good story, good longevity, because it's between 2 to 4 hours, so it's good. Now if they continue, only put multiple endings, like 4 multiple endings, and like that people will enjoy more because they have replayability. Is what I have to say. So hope you guys enjoyed the full playthrough of Devil's Eyes. If you like visual novels, you can go to Steam, it's already available. You can go there and play it. Of course, you need to buy it, of course, but it's cheap. It's very cheap, the game, so you can go there and buy it, the game, and play it. You're gonna enjoy the story. If you are not a big fan of visual novels, I'll say give it a try, because the game is not long. The story is very good, and it's not hard to understand what's happening, the story, because it's easy, the story, to understand what's happening. So I'll say to buy the game. So hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough of Devil's Eyes, and see you guys next time.